Welcome to SUSD Spotlight, your go-to source for all things happening within the district. Whether it's celebrating student and staff achievements, delving into trending education topics, or highlighting inspiring human interest stories, we've got you covered. Join us as we illuminate the incredible endeavors taking place in our schools and forge connections within our community. Get ready to be informed, inspired, and engaged as we embark on this journey together, spotlighting the extraordinary in SUSD. Welcome to another edition of SUSD Spotlight. Today I'm excited to welcome into our studio SUSD teacher Susan Leonard. Susan wears a number of hats here, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about those. But Susan, I'd love it if you could tell me just a little bit about why you decided to even become a teacher.
Well, I'm from a small farming community in Nebraska, and education is so highly respected and appreciated. And my mother actually was going to be a language arts teacher, but instead married my father.
Okay.
And so I felt like we had a language arts teacher in our house all my years growing up. And so I was just so excited with education, and I always want to move and groove. And so physical education just seemed to be the natural fit for me.
So you're a physical education teacher at Ingleside Middle School. What is it that you like most about your job, and what are the things that you wish you didn't have to do?
My favorite part of my job, and it's been every year of my teaching, is watching kids grow. I love to watch those aha moments. I love to watch them progress. I love to watch them do things they never thought they could. The most challenging thing, probably there's not enough time in the day. Like you said, I have many, many hats, and I'm not very good at saying no.
So have you spent your entire career here in Scottsdale?
No, I actually started back in Nebraska and then spent 5 years in Nebraska and then spent 10 years in Durango, Colorado. Actually coached at the collegiate level.
Okay.
Started a athletic program and taught at a Catholic school, and then came here because I was in search for an administrator that I wanted to work for. And whether administrators realized or not, I was interviewing them as much as they were interviewing me.
Interesting.
Because I wanted someone that would allow me to grow. Because my first year of teaching, I promised myself that I would continue to grow in some aspect in my craft, in my profession. And I believe I've done that.
Well, and I think that's what exemplifies extraordinary teaching. And part of what you do, one of the hats that you wear, is leading our National Board Certified teacher work here in Scottsdale. And I'm not sure that everyone that's listening knows what it means to pursue National Board Certification. So maybe you could kind of talk to us a little bit about what it is and how many people have been involved and the role that you play with respect to National Board Certification here in Scottsdale.
Mm-hmm. Well, as you said, I happen to be the lead MBCT for our district. Very proud of that. Very proud of our 80-plus MBCTs we have in our district. Scottsdale is one of the leading districts in the state of Arizona in terms of number of MBCTs. It's one of the most stringent and respected certifications that teachers can get in public education. And it's created for teachers, by teachers. And its purpose is to help with retention, to celebrate teachers, and to improve education. And it's voluntary, and so no one twist your arm, if you will, to do it.
Right.
But there's 4 components to it, and the first component is a computerized test, and it's 45 multiple choice questions, and then 3 short answer questions. You got to show that you know.
Oh, exactly.
Your pedagogy, if you will. And then component 2 is you show examples of student work. You reflect upon that. You have to justify everything, and everything ties back to the student. If you can't show evidence or tell the why of what you're doing and how it affects your students, then National Board says, so what? The third component is you have to actually videotape yourself.
Okay.
Teaching. So you have to show your environment. You have to show your differentiation of instruction. You have to show your learning environment, how you're maximizing your learning environment to engage every student. A fair, equitable, inclusive educational environment. And then the fourth one is you as an effective and reflective practitioner. And so I have to create a goal for myself as a professional, and then I have to create a goal for students based off of their needs. But I have to connect the community, not just the school community, but our community as a whole. Our parents are such an integral part of our educational process, and National Boards wants to bring that to the forefront.
From start to finish, how long does it take a teacher to earn National Board certification?
Well, we're very fortunate here in Arizona to have the Arizona K-12 Center. And so they offer a pre-candidacy class, and usually a teacher will complete that the year prior to officially starting the process. But what's neat about that is they provide an awful lot of funding to help our people through that. It also increases their chance of successfully completing the process. But on average, it takes about 2 years to complete it. At least that's what we really put forth towards our candidates in SUSD.
Okay, and once you've completed it, that's it, right, Susan? There's never any more work beyond that?
Oh my, that's just the beginning. Just the beginning. I often ask my candidates, you're an MBCT, now what? And they have all these, they're so excited and they just want to continue to grow. And my pat answer is continue to grow. Everyone wants to continue to grow in some facet. And once you have MBCT behind your name, it opens up opportunities. People may not know what MBCT exactly stands for, but they know there's respect to it. And we get opportunities. For instance, Ashley Cross was top 10 Arizona Teacher of the Year a couple years ago. He's an MBCT for us. I was very fortunate to be Arizona Physical Education President, Arizona Physical Education Teacher of the Year. I get to work with teachers as a lead MBCT from all subject areas, at every developmental level. So it's just, we just want to continue to grow. And we understand that it goes far beyond our classroom. We want to reach out to you. We want to reach out to parents. We want to reach out to children. We want to hear their voice. Every student has a voice that deserves to be heard.
I think the networking is really powerful. I've had an opportunity to attend a few of the meetings that you facilitated, and it seems that the connection between our NBCT teachers, whether or not they're elementary, middle, or high school, and regardless of their content, they've created this camaraderie and this willingness to share best practices, what they've learned that's working, where they're focusing their efforts on growth. Do you think that's consistent across other schools with their NBCT, or is there something special here in Scottsdale that you've witnessed since you've been leading this effort?
I think we have the National Board Directory, so I or you or anybody else could reach out and find an MBCT across Arizona or across the United States. And I've never had an MBCT that I've contacted that hasn't been willing to reach out back to me. But maybe I'm just biased, but Scottsdale Unified, I'm so proud to be here because I feel like our program is so hands-on. We have one of the highest certification rates in the state, and actually this year, for the first time ever, 100% of our people who were up for recertification or new certification certified.
That's fantastic.
We're very, very proud of that. I get chills about that. But the first thing I want to do with those people is I say, I want you to give back. I want you to come and talk to our current candidates. I want them to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I want them to see what it truly means to be an MBCT. And yes, there's respect, but there's responsibility that comes with that.
Well, and I truly appreciate the reflective part of the practice. I think for any professional, whether it's a teacher or administrator, anyone in the school system, taking the time to think about how we can get better, how do we understand the students that we're serving. So I appreciate the way you lead that. I'm thinking that maybe it would be helpful if our listeners understood how you apply what you've learned in NBCT to a physical education classroom, and maybe even help people understand all of the facets of physical education, because I think sometimes if we go back to our own school experience, it was, suiting up and playing different sports. And I think there's a whole lot more to what we anticipate in terms of the standards and expectations for physical education. Maybe you can talk about how you've used NBCT in reflecting on what you do in your PE classes.
Well, there's 3 pillars to National Board process. Standards for each certificate area, the 5 core propositions. It's what teachers should know and be able to do. But to answer your question directly, the architecture of accomplished teaching. I utilize that every day. And at the basis is knowledge of students. Because how do you create goals if you don't know your students? In this time, in this place. Not students in general, but your students in this time, in this place. And some lessons are very similar, but some lessons are very different based off of our students. So in the architecture, it's knowledge of students. You create high challenging goals based off of that knowledge of the students. Then you teach, then you assess, then you reflect, as you mentioned earlier, and then you set new, more challenging goals. So it's like a DNA strand, if you will. So it's a growth mindset. It's like one of our values that we have here in Scottsdale Unified is excellence, having a growth mindset. That's what I have, and that's what I try to instill in every one of my students, is that growth mindset and inclusion.
Well, I truly am grateful for that. We're heading into Teacher Appreciation Week, Susan. And there are many ways in which teachers can feel appreciated, and there are ways in which maybe this job has become more difficult and challenging than it's ever been before. What are some of the things that our listeners could do to show their respect and appreciation for our teachers that are working on the front line to support the needs of our students?
Oh, just a comment, a positive comment, an email, a phone call, just any little acknowledgement of the hard work that every educator puts forth every day. And it is an every day. And it's not just a first hour to last hour of the school day. It's 6-7 days a week. I on average work 12 hours a day. So just an acknowledgement of that would be wonderful. Can I share something that we're going to be doing?
Please do.
With my teachers specifically in Ingleside, I have started a staff mantra of teach intentionally, which kind of goes along with the national mantra, if you will. And so I reached out to our two student leadership organizations, Student Council and NGHS, and I've asked them, I hope my fellow staff members don't hear this podcast beforehand. But I asked them to create wordles and poems about each teacher. And then our PTO, I reached out to them, and they got us frames. And so now every teacher during Teacher Appreciation Week is going to receive a wordle or a poem about how their students see them. And within that, it's going to be teach intentionally somewhere within there.
I think it's beautiful. Teachers have the ability to impact the future in ways that oftentimes people don't understand just how powerful that impact can be. I like to ask my guests on the podcast if they have a favorite teacher or memory from their time in school that they'd like to share with our listeners, because I think telling those stories helps elevate the profession, helps people understand the power and the impact that a teacher can have on an individual, and that has a ripple effect that can affect generations.
Mm-hmm. I would have to say who I call Doc Dudley, or Richard Dudley. He was a college professor of mine at Doane College, and at that time, understand, it was rated the fourth best education department in the nation, period. And it's very, very high standards. But he came and he was such a mentor of mine, and such a positive impact, and had such a positive impact on me. But he came to watch me teach one time, and it was not the best lesson I'd ever taught. And I knew that going in, but we had to come back, we had to sit down and reflect about it. And he pointed out things that need to be pointed out, but every time he came back with, Sweet Sue, you're going to be a great teacher. This. Sweet Sue, you're going to be a great teacher. Okay. But just the lessons that he instilled in me and, shared with me have just empowered me throughout my career, and hopefully it's allowed me to empower other educators along the way too.
Well, I can attest to the fact that you've had a positive impact on teachers here in Scottsdale, on your students at Ingleside. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity I've had to even stop in your classroom and to observe you instructing students. Teaching is not easy, and I'm grateful you chose that as a profession. I also want to give a shout out to all of our teachers in Scottsdale Unified School District and thank them for the work they do day in and day out, because I know it's not just a 7:30 to 2:30 gig. It's a lot more than that. It's a lot of late nights and evenings, and it's a lot of work to think about how to differentiate to meet the needs of our learners. And so I'm encouraging our community, our parents, our students, and others to find ways to express appreciation for our teachers. And I want to thank you for listening to SUSD Spotlight and invite you to join us anytime or place that suits you. as we shine a light on the extraordinary stories that make Scottsdale Unified School District a truly exceptional place. And please take a moment to pitch us your ideas. We look forward to hearing from you at susd.org/spotlight.